7-footers, gang, what is up? It is free agency madness. Jenna Lemoncelli here.
Jarod Hector.
And we are up to our ears. Oh, what it do, baby?
I had to give you a little what it do, baby, because, Jenna, what does it do?
Oh, what does it do, Jarod? What doesn't it do out here in these streets? And it's only day 3.
Where have you been? The people want to know.
The people do want to know. No, guys. So 2 weeks ago, I was covering the NBA draft.
NBA draft, yeah.
They're on hand, got some good takes there, representing some 7-footer action. And then the next week, where was I, Jarod? Oh, my goodness.
Home, maybe?
Oh, yes. I traveled back to Pennsylvania. Have a lot of...
the sticks.
The sticks.
Pennsatucky? Where's that place?
Pennsyltucky, I think you used to call it when we first met.
Pennsatucky, yeah.
Yes. Good times out here in these streets. But I am back. But Jarod has been on the move like crazy, doing some guest appearances on some different pods.
Oh, yeah, man. Crazy out here.
I love it. I love it. Now, let's jump into free agency because things are hot, heavy. Honestly, to be fully transparent, I'm not even sure I know which players are on which team at this point. So I'm really, really nervous at this stage in the game. And it's only day 3.
Only day 3, yeah. We're wrapping day 3, folks. And just a little note PSA for those of you watching us. We're live on YouTube right now.
Yes.
If Kawhi Leonard announces where he is going, we will break for the action and let you know and give you our instant reaction. We'll probably let you know with the sound like that. And once that goes off, you know, oh man, business is going down.
The business.
And what's interesting because as you remember, you were very sort of frazzled this morning on Twitter.
I did. I was.
You responded to a tweet that I sent out with not really English. It was just letters.
To be completely honest with you, Jarod, I saw your tweet, and the first thing I could do was just like, and I tapped on any keys I could.
And what tweet was that?
That was the tweet where you had some insider info, maybe, I think, about Kawhi Leonard and some news dropping today.
All I said was Kawhi news coming soon, ...
So, what are your sources saying, Jarod?
Listen, I don't want to be... Sources are telling me that it legitimately is down to 2 teams, and it's looking like it's 90%.
Which direction is it headed in?
I think it's better like northeast and west is probably the best, like if you're looking at a map. Oh. Right? Because Toronto's in the northeast, like extreme northeast.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say the arrow is tilting more towards the west if I had to. Yeah.
Any favorite color in mind?
My sources tell me purple and gold look like some colors that might possibly look nice.
Oh my gosh.
But hey, listen, don't be aggregating me out in these streets, okay? Because it's not confirmed. It's only from one source, and we like to get multiple people in the notes before we can legitimately say anything. And look, let's be clear about this. Kawhi's camp is very good about keeping stuff tight-lipped, and actually the teams who he's talking to are also very tight-lipped. When we talk about sources, it's people on the periphery, right? And these are people I'm not making up, but these aren't the sources. It's like a rep at New Balance or the communications president at company X, right? It's these kinds of people who are at the periphery of these meetings who would have insider information. But anyway, we'll get to all that in a little bit. Let's figure out all this free agency madness. Okay,
first of all, let's open this up with the biggest moves that we have seen, okay? Woj didn't sleep the first night, we know that. Shams is not too far behind. And things are popping out left and right. Like we said, there's big moves, some familiar faces in strange places. I believe I stole that from you. I heard that before and I really liked it. All right, let's open up with what we have to, the Brooklyn Nets. Yeah. They acquired Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, DeAndre Jordan, and Garrett Temple, okay? We have Durant, 4 years. Kyrie, 4 years. DeAndre, 4 years. Garrett Temple, 2. Now, we got some big money contracts going down, Jarod. Tell me the take on this now, because is it true with DeAndre Jordan taking that 40 mil? So then the guys took 20 or 10 less?
Yes. So essentially...
Explain this to me for the kids at home.
So essentially, Kevin and Kyrie took a little bit less than their maximums in order for DeAndre to get $10 million a year.
Yeah.
Look, essentially what that is that's a favor that Kevin and Kyrie are doing for DeAndre, right? Like, they're like, look, we want you here with us. Here's what we're going to do. let's get you paid and get you because we think you could help us with our ultimate goal, which of course is trying to win a championship, right? I mean, that's what you're doing here. This is all interesting, but the one thing I want to go back to really quick before we sort of go nuts and like get crazy. So there's all this talk that goes around about so-and-so was a max player. This person's a max player. That person's a max player. We need to sort of understand what exactly we're talking about when we say this person's a max, that person's a max. Because not all maxes are created equal, right?
No, you have super max, you have the max, and there's all depending on things. So explain it.
It's all dependent. Okay, so if you are 6 years or less in the league, 25% of the team salary or $25 million, whichever is the greater number, that's what a maximum deal is for you.
Yes.
That's what D'Angelo Russell got. That's more commonly known as the rookie extension, right?
Yeah.
So really good rookie players, when they're like, all right, I want to keep them, they get the rookie max. So that's 25% of the team salary or $25 million per whichever number is greater. And because the salary cap escalates every year, it's usually 25% of the team salary is the higher amount.
Yeah.
Then there's a max for players 7 to 9 years in the league, which is 30% of the team salary or $30.6 million, right? That is the Kawhi Leonard range, okay? Then you have the 10 plus, right? For players who have been in the league 10 plus years. 35% of the team salary or $35.7 million, okay? So those are the different max salaries.
Yeah.
Now on top of that, you have the super max extension, right? Which is 35% of the cap with an 8% escalator every year, right? Exactly.
Talk about a bag. About a bag.
That is all the bag. But there are requirements in order to be Supermax eligible.
Yes.
It's not just for anybody. You had to either been an MVP, Defensive Player of the Year in one of the most recent previous seasons. All NBA, any of the All NBA teams. Those are the kinds of things that allow you to be Supermax extension eligible.
And also, it changes over time because the salary cap keeps changing over time as well. So these numbers are never set in stone. They're always fluctuating. Yeah.
So salary cap for this upcoming season, 2019-2020, is $109 million, right? That's the team salary cap. And what that is, again, for people at home, that's the cap on the amount of money a team can spend, right? Now, you can, of course, go over that. That, of course, puts you into the luxury tax. And so for every dollar you are over that $109 million, you pay a certain penalty, and that goes into a pot, and that gets divvied up amongst the rest of the non-revenue generating teams, right?
Yes.
So that's a little, again, insider information for those of you out there. So we're talking about a lot of money out here in these streets, right? Like
a lot of money.
I mean, the Kevin Durant Supermax, which he didn't sign because he took a little bit less to go to the Nets, was 5-year, $221 million, right? I mean, you break that down and it averages out to 40-something a year. But really what it starts out as is it starts at like 30-something. And then by the last year of that contract, it's up to $57 million, right? Which, woo, that's a nice chunk of change.
And a lot of people talk about, and again, we can get into this at any point you'd like, but a lot of people talk about Kevin Durant, like you just said, taking less.
Yeah.
And they question that.
Yeah.
But as you're going to explain to us later, I'll preview you a little bit and tease the viewers that it's not about the money for him.
Yeah,
it's more of the happiness and chasing that type of deal.
Yeah, and we'll get into it shortly, but this is also a larger point about NBA guys in general. This league often gets a bad rap, or it has historically, by a lot of media members and fans in general, because people don't like to think or actually pay attention to what's going on. They hear something and they go, oh, this must be what it is.
Yeah.
And this idea that NBA players are selfish, all they care about is money, blah, 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 blah. Well, we've seen several times in the past several years that it's not all about the money. Guys turn down less money. Think about all you people out there in these streets. Who's turning down 5 years, $221 million for their friends? Forget that. Sorry, I love my friends and all, but you like me a lot better when I got my $221 million. So
ain't that the truth?
It's these guys, and again, I hate to beat this horse, but it's entertainment for us / work. This is their lives, man. This is where they have to wake up every day, live and work and do their thing and provide for their families and future generations. Yes, I know. But Jarod, it's hundreds of millions of dollars. Listen, stop. That excuse drives me up a freaking wall. It's economics, people. There are only 450 NBA jobs. This is a multi-billion B with a capital B $billion sport. Duh. the most talented people are going to make the most money. It works like this in every other industry in the entire world.
Hey.
The only difference is in those other industries, more than 450 people can do it. Not in this league. So guess what? Less people divvying up a pie. Guess what that means? More money for the people that work there. It's that simple. And again, if you don't like it and it bothers you and you're so angry and cops and firefighters and teachers should make this money, okay, I don't disagree with you. Then don't watch basketball. Right?
Plain and simple.
I mean, if you stop watching sports, and that's not the NBA, NFL, and if everyone wants to complain about that, stop watching all sports. The money will go away quickly, but you ain't going to do that. So here we are.
Hey. So the tide has obviously shifted in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Brooklyn has made some good moves.
Yeah.
A lot of people would argue, I would agree, that they pretty much won free agency at this point.
Well, look, you are getting, in my estimation, pre-injury, the best player in basketball. And you're then bringing with him a top 15 guy in Kyrie Irving. I mean, that's kind of good. Let's not...
Arguably the best point guard in the league. Arguably, I said.
Okay, I was going to say, Steph Man's going to come into your mentions heavy.
This is why we're here, isn't it? Hey, you know.
I will not go that far and say that Kyrie... I will say he's top 15 because Kyrie is All-NBA. He was second-team All-NBA. And by definition, All-NBA means you're one of the 15 best players in the league. There's only 15 slots in All-NBA. Kyrie was on the second team. He is top 15 in the league. So...
Very wise with your words, Jarod.
Listen, you know it's all facts here.
That's right.
Listen, and Kyrie, I've said this a million times. Kyrie is an incredible shot maker. One of the best in the league and one of the best
Finishers.
Small people. Again, small in quotes because he's not small, but he's smaller than Kevin Durant, right? One of the best small guys in the league's history at getting to the rim and finishing. I mean, his handle's incredible. His angles that he throws the ball at the backboard. I mean, it's all
clutch. Great passer.
I think he's
great on coast to coast. Yeah,
listen, he can do it all.
That is right. So, like I said, we have a change now in the East. Are they the number one franchise, Jarod?
In the league or in New York City?
Let's talk about New York, then the East, and then the league.
Okay. In New York City, look, for sure right now, they take the cake right now, right? I mean, we'll get to the Knicks a little bit later, but the Knicks...
That'll be a short one.
No, it actually be a little bit longer. Well, because
no, they're picking up some young guys.
I think there's some nuance to what the Knicks are doing. We can argue about whether it was planned or not, but it is what it is. But yeah, look, anytime you get those type of guys on your team, I mean, Kevin Durant's a 2-time Finals MVP and a former league MVP. Hello? I mean, come on. This is easy money sniper we're talking about here.
Do you think that?
So yeah, they have taken over as the show in New York City in terms of NBA basketball.
And in terms of Kevin Durant, really quick, do you believe? Because this was a big argument with a lot of people online. Should he be offered the max?
Oh, you mean because
should he not be offered the max? Yes.
Oh, because the Achilles.
Even before the Knicks.
Okay. Oh, the Achilles injury is what you're talking about. Okay. Look, we know the history of that injury isn't great in the NBA, but if there's anyone you're going to bet on who's going to come back from it because of the way his game is, it's Kevin Durant, right?
For sure, I would have given him the max.
He's a 7-foot sniper. I mean, there's the thing. No matter what is going on with his Achilles, the thing about aging in this league is that when your athleticism goes away for most players, they have to figure out how to reinvent their game, which usually means becoming a better shooter and all these things to make you stick around. Well, Kevin Durant's already an elite shooter. He's not getting better at shooting, right? He's already excellent at that. So he can evolve into like a Dirk Nowitzki type where he just comes off screens, sets screen rolls, pulls out and shoots, and he'll kill you in the mid-range. Let's say he can never be 60% of what he was athletically. He'll still have a place in this league because he's 7 feet tall and can shoot. Like that, those people don't grow on trees. Like,
well, yeah. I mean, even like you said, even after the Achilles, I mean, there's so much he has to go off of. That's why I don't understand the argument about, I don't know if I'd pay him the max.
So his game was going to age gracefully anyway because of the way in which he is as a basketball player.
Yeah.
Now, what makes him arguably the best player in the world is that athleticism, right? Because at 7 feet tall, he can also cross you up off the dribble, take you to the rack, and do those things. Mm-hmm. That's the question that people wonder, will he be able to do that again? And we don't know. Time will tell. I will say this. He will not be able to do that in year one coming back. It probably won't be until year 2, that second year that he's back, which is year 3 of the contract. Because remember, year 1 next year, he's not playing at all.
No.
He's sitting out all of next season. Year 2, he will likely be back, a diminished version of himself, and he'll be working his way back into shape and form. Which, by the way, the Nets are smart. You load manage him like you did Kawhi. No back-to-backs, like none of that. I mean, it's 30. Maybe you ramp him up to 30 minutes a night. Like that. Listen, you're playing the long game here. You got him here for winning titles, not for regular season nonsense.
Oh, yeah.
It's about chips.
Exactly.
So load manage, no back-to-back, 60-something games, right? We'll see how he is in year 2 of that. And year 3, which will be his second year back, is when I think he'll be back to as close to his old self or whatever he was going to devolve into at that age, right?
Yeah.
So I think he'll still be an all-NBA type performer, still be excellent, and still be the key piece in a team winning an NBA title.
Okay, so I just asked you, what do we think about the Nets and their ranking now in the league?
Right.
Now that we obviously know KD's sitting out next year,
Yeah.
so how are we going to move around with the Nets with these moving parts now while KD's out?
The Nets, so they're going to kind of get into a little rhythm and flow. Kyrie get used to his new teammates, and we'll talk about Kyrie in a second because we got to go on your boy a little bit here. Look, the Nets made the playoffs last year. They were the 6th seed with Kyrie, with DeAndre Jordan, with Garrett Temple, with Karis LeVert making another a year of improvement.
Incredible.
With Rodions Kurucs making another year of improvement. Dinwiddie, all these young, Jarrett Allen. There's no reason that they shouldn't make the playoffs again. They're going to battle probably for, I would say, top 4 seed. They should be maybe because they were 6. They should maybe get a 4 seed.
Yeah.
So
they should definitely move up in seeding.
So they're going to move up in seeding, and dare I say, they should probably win the first round of the playoffs.
I agree.
And then go into
That's not far-fetched.
And what that is seasoning for Karis LeVert, Jarrett Allen, Kurucs, Joe Harris, all these guys. It's it's an opportunity for you to get that seasoning under your belt. So then when the big dog comes back next season, we ready now. You guys know how the playoffs works. You ready?
Exactly.
Now we can kick it up a notch.
It's no secret that Kyrie and KD have wanted to play together. Yep. They're very close. Yep. They've talked about this in the past and currently and recently. So let's move on to Kyrie Irving.
So in many ways, people are talking about, is this Kyrie's last chance? Well, listen, we have to be fair.
Okay. I'm taking out all my bias. Hit me.
Well, it's not even, look, and I've said this on numerous podcasts, and I've written about it, I've tweeted about it. Kyrie's getting a lot of the blame for what went on in Boston.
Yes,
and look,
he is.
He deserves his share of it because
I agree.
You can't be calling your teammates out in the media.
That was an issue.
You can't do stuff like that. You can't, here's the thing about Kyrie. He operated in Boston as though he was LeBron James.
Yes.
Now, to be fair to Kyrie, that is who he learned leadership from. He's like, this is what Bron did when he was in Cleveland. This is what I'm going to do. Except the small difference is, Kyrie, you're not LeBron James, number one.
Exactly.
But here's the thing. You can't tell Kyrie that because in Kyrie's mind, I was a number 1 draft pick too, just like LeBron James. Ain't no difference between me and him. No, but yes, we know there's difference. But in Kyrie's mind, no, I hit the game-winning shot in Game 7 of the NBA Finals. Listen, I'm just telling you.
I know. I'm rolling my eyes because, I agree with you.
I'm telling you, this is how, and I'm not saying, and Kyrie's not necessarily wrong for thinking that way.
No, he hit the game-winning shot. Yes, kudos
he dropped 40,
Yeah, Kyrie, for sure.
So in his mind, he's like, I'm just as good as this dude.
This goes back to the age-old saying, comparison is the thief of joy.
Well, it certainly
You cannot go into a team, and I mean this to Kyrie Irving directly, but I mean this to everyone.
Right.
And this is the same rule for somebody who tries to compare themselves to Kevin Durant. You cannot go to another team and be like, okay, I'm going to run this shit, whatever, this and that, yada, yada, yada. Because, first of all, we always talk about this. What is there to this, Jarod?
Levels.
There is levels
to this, man. There's levels.
And that means you're not going to put yourself on the same playing field as LeBron James or Kevin Durant.
Right. Yeah.
So, in my opinion, Kyrie could have went into Boston so much more different.
Yeah.
This is what puzzles me too. What in your right mind makes you call out your teammates like that? I get the frustration, this and that, and I guess when everybody's bringing down the blame on you, but That I didn't get. He's a very philosophical human being. He's
Lord.
very in tune with his feelings.
Third eye, Kyrie. Good God.
We gotta do what we gotta do.
The all-seeing eye. He knows all truths.
He's very philosophical. He's very level-headed, and that.
Well, I know you see his Instagram posts. EYE. I know. I'm like, Kyrie, come on, Playboy. Come on, Playboy.
Next level human. Next level.
No, and here's the thing. Again, I talked about earlier on my PSA rant about athletes and making millions, and people need to just grow up and stop being jealous of them. Well, truth. Kyrie, he has to think that way. First of all, every player that makes it in professional sports, but we're talking about the NBA specifically, you have to think you are the best, or else you're not going to make it in this league.
Yeah.
You're just not going to. Again, there are only 450 slots available. Do you know how many people in the world play basketball? Millions. So to be at that level, you already think you are the you-know-what.
Oh, 100%.
And if you're a number one pick like Kyrie, I definitely think I'm, you know what I mean?
And there's nothing wrong with that. But going into Boston with
Right.
I don't want to say a chip on your shoulder, but
yes,
with
but
some
he did.
type
No.
of chip, like
Felt,
I came from
he
LeBron,
felt some type of way.
I did this, I did
He felt
that.
some type of way.
And it blew up in his face completely.
He felt some type of way.
Here's the other part where I see it too, because his post about going to Brooklyn, he talked about going home and feeling comfortable.
Yep.
Do you think that he left Cleveland to go to Boston because he just wanted an out?
Yeah, so he did not want to be in LeBron's shadow anymore. And we'll get to this when we talk about the Lakers in a little bit.
But making that irrational decision to go.
Well, but he got traded. He demanded
he demanded a trade,
but he didn't have any control over where they sent him.
Yeah.
They could have sent him anyway.
So it just wasn't the right fit.
And here's where I say some of the blame goes on Brad and the coaching, because Kyrie was playing well at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
Some of it goes on Danny and not understanding locker room dynamics and how you figure it, right? Because it's not about assets only and pieces. It's about what fits. And some of it goes on Tatum and Brown and the young guys. Look, again, everyone is to blame. Yes, Kyrie shoulders a lot of that, but so does everybody else.
Definitely.
And so what I'm thinking now is, hopefully Kyrie realizes, okay, this is a different situation for me now. I'm going to play with one of my best friends in basketball, who he said numerous times, right? Because remember when the All-Star video came out with them like joking around in the hallway during All-Star game when we were down there, and he came back to Boston. The reporters go, Kyrie, there's a video circulating about you and Kevin just laughing. Like, what was that conversation about? Like, is it about free agency? And he was just like, Kyrie got his philosophical soapbox. He's like, bro, what? Do you see how ridiculous that is? I'm laughing with one of my best friends. Why do you care? Like. And and to a point, I get it, but to another point, it's like, Kyrie, come on, dog. Like
it's a question that needs to be asked.
You know what this is.
Yeah.
And so he needs to realize that leadership comes in different forms, and he needs to understand how you motivate and how you get the best out of your teammates, and also recognize, as you know, and our listeners, our loyal listeners and viewers know, I cover the Nets. I know what that culture in that locker room's like. Those guys are a cohesive, tight-knit group. So Kyrie better not think he's rolling in there and going to be like, well, I'm the new, hey. Yeah, we recognize you have a championship ring. However, you won that with LeBron James, not by yourself. Talk to us about how you flamed out in Boston this year. Just keep it at a buck, right? You're not going to come in here and start demanding X and Y and Z. And two, Kenny is the kind of coach, I feel, that will be not necessarily all about confrontation, but when Kyrie goes off on one of his, he's like, Kyrie, no. That's not how we do things here. You worry about you and keep playing well and motivating your teammates. This isn't the way to do it. That's not how we do things here.
Yeah.
And Sean Marks and Kenny Atkinson and the Nets brain trust, that's what they're hoping for. So look, this year one's going to be very interesting because Kyrie's going to have to be the leader, right? And hold the seat warm until the president gets back in year two, right? and that's when we're like, okay, Kyrie, calm down, buddy. I appreciate you holding down the fort, but I am Kevin Durant after all. You know who I am.
I think this is going to be his time. I think Kyrie has finally found
basketball nirvana
where he wants to be.
Yes. So now he has no excuses. Now he chose this place. It wasn't like you got no. You said so. Now if anything goes wrong, we're looking at you sideways now because this is where you said you wanted to be.
And that's where I do see the ties with the last chance and this and that because
you chose it.
Exactly.
No one forced you here.
It's the same thing about like jobs.
Right.
When you see on a resume that somebody's been bouncing around, this and that, having trouble everywhere, it's like, what's really the real deal?
At some point, you wonder,
exactly.
Well, what's the issue? What's the actual issue?
Yep. So let's move on. Golden State Warriors. Okay.
Well, we should probably talk about Kevin Durant, no?
Oh, yes. I'm sorry. He's out next year, so I was just forgetting.
Well, no.
I'm kidding.
It's this idea of, Katie in this search for happiness. And I feel like that ultimately is what it is.
I even set you up for that one, and I just totally
But we've been reading a lot of the articles that have come out from a lot of the various people that are colleagues in the media, Marcus Thompson, The Athletic, Marcus Spears at The Undefeated, talking about Kevin Durant. And I've addressed this here, so I'm not going to belabor this point. But I'm going to be very clear about what I believe this is about as it relates to Kevin Durant, based on what I've what I've read and what I've heard from people around the situation.
Yeah.
Kevin, basketball-wise, and this has been since he was a young kid, has always searched for a close-knit group of players that's like a brotherhood. They're like his boys and his family, right? That's the big thing about Kevin Durant. He looks forward to that. As great as he is as easy money sniper, 7 foot, all that jazz, he has a difficult time reconciling how standing out works and how that the dynamics are with why can't we all be, kumbaya-ish and together.
Yeah.
And I want to take this all the way back to Texas. Dana O'Neill from The Athletic, shout out to her, did a great 1 year, an oral history of Durant's 1 year at Texas. And all the stories were about how, man, this dude's legit. Like, he's going to be the next one. But, everyone knew it but him. He didn't want any, when Slam Magazine came down to Texas to do a story on him, he was like, why aren't all my teammates here with me? Right? It was always about this connectivity, right? Because the standing alone, this isolation thing is kind of a problem for him, right?
Yeah.
Even though in many ways, because of the way he processes things, he somewhat becomes detached and isolated and somewhat of a loner. But that's not really at his core who he really is. He likes to be around his teammates and his guys. Okay. He gets drafted by Seattle. They move to Oklahoma City. They get Russ. They get Harden. Listen, they're the backpack boys. Right? Jeff Green. They're the backpack boys. They're at each other's houses playing video games. Everything's cool. And you watch them in the playoffs. They got their backpacks coming to the stage. Because remember, he was 18, 19 years old when he got drafted. These are kids when they come into the league. And this is what it was, right? They can't go out yet for real. So it's like, well, let's just play games.
Who wants to come over?
When you're 19, you're playing video games in your dorm room.
Yeah, you're playing 2K,
right,
whatever.
That's what they were doing. So as they're getting older, the dynamics start to shift a little bit. Not only on the court, Kevin establishes himself as the best player, the alpha, all that stuff, but everybody starts becoming their own human. We all can relate to that, right?
Of course.
As you age and you grow, you start to figure out, who am I? And between 19 and 22 and 22 and 25, you change as who you are as a person. Not some of your core beliefs, but sort of you round into that fully formed person you're going to be.
Yeah.
Right? Then Oklahoma City trades James Harden, which, by the way, he never got over that. He may not admit it ever, but he never got over that. First, they traded Jeff Green. That was first. So his buddy Jeff Green, gone. And again, young guys in the league together. Trades James Harden, gone. Okay. Russ starts dating his college girlfriend. They get very serious. They get married. So you start seeing how, well, it was first the four of us. Now it's three. Now it's two. Now you're getting engaged and married. Now it's one. Everything split. He's alone again. Okay. He goes to Golden State. Do you remember when he went to Golden State and he came out and he talked, all the stuff started leaking out when they came to the Hamptons, what he thought it was like? Oh, when Andre and Steph and Clay and Draymond walked in, it's like four guys were holding hands. It was great. He was like, oh, I'm going to be part of that. Cool. Okay. Life's going to be great. They win the first title. He's Finals MVP. Thought it was going to be all the validation. But it wasn't quite. Everybody's like, oh, you're a snake. You jumped on, whatever. But again, in terms of that connectivity, Steph's a family man. He's got 3 kids now? There isn't a whole lot of time for him to add new people. As anybody, it's hard to add new people into your life. So we cool, but like, we're not going to hang out off the court a ton because
I
don't have time.
3 small children at home.
I don't have time for that, right? So I'm not hanging out with him. Then it's Draymond. Okay, he has a baby. Okay, well, it's just, so what I thought was going to be this brotherhood thing, not that they're not or tight and connected, it's just not what he thought it was going to be. So that was a lot of that. And I think for him, that's what he's searching for. Another little tidbit that I forgot to include. His circle changed in terms of people. Remember, his mom, Wanda, and his brother, Tony, were very much in the forefront. You would see them all the time at games.
Yeah.
As time went on in Golden State, you saw less and less of them, right? I don't know the story there, what's going on, but clearly something's happening. And two, another story that we all know about but hasn't gotten talked about. He was engaged to former WNBA player Monica Wright, I want to say. I forget it. It's something like that. Either way, it doesn't matter. I mean, it doesn't matter who she is, but then the engagement got called off.
Yeah.
Right? And so... Right? So he is constantly searching for this connectivity to a group of people, which is why he brought his BFF DeAndre aboard. He's always like, Kyrie, come on, let's go play together. I mean, there's something he's searching for with basketball, because basketball is his haven and his safe place. But he wants that, and he wants to be around his favorite people at the same time, right? Which sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't.
Exactly. I mean, we'll have to see about that, but I get everything you're saying, and it makes so much sense, and the timeline makes so much sense, and the reason for things happening, again, makes so much sense. But also, on the other hand, this is life. Yeah. This is growth.
It is.
We are adults. Yeah. We're growing up.
Exactly.
So he's
31 years old now, right?
Yeah.
Or will be 31. So it's like, hey,
you got to roll with the punches.
You may not be able to have that. It may just be, this is how it's going to be.
And you got to adjust with life. And that's what it is, you know?
Is,
I mean, I totally get it, though. It's totally...
I'd love to only work with people I prefer to.
Of course. I mean, in a perfect world, I would love to wake up and, hang out with my BFFs and things like that. But what also happens when you're with your BFFs all the time? Yeah. You're not as focused. And you're not getting a lot done. And this and that. So, pros and cons. Pros and cons.
Yeah, pros and cons of both.
That's about it, That's all she wrote.
All she wrote.
Exactly. Golden State Warriors.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this sign and trade with the Nets. D'Angelo Russell, 4 years, $117 million extension. Kevin Looney, 3 years, $15 million.
Yep.
Klay Thompson, 5 years, $190 million.
Max.
Yep, got him the max. He just had successful surgery on July 2nd. More good luck to him. All the good vibes. Glenn Robinson III on the veteran minimum.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Look, I think the Warriors... They're doing a reset right now, right? Clearly. You lose Kevin Durant, arguably the best player in the game. You're like, well, we got to fill it up with something.
Exactly.
So they were actually really lucky to get a 23-year-old all-star in D'Angelo Russell, right?
Who came off a great season and postseason.
It's going to be good for them in some ways. What I'm interested to see is how, and re-signing Kevon Looney was big for them because Steve Kerr called him a foundational piece. They picked up Glenn Robinson III. They're getting a lot of young guys in here right now. And this is what I'm thinking. They need to work on really making sure that player development is sort of their key focus right now.
Yeah.
Steph and Klay and Draymond are who they are. So we're all good. But, in terms of the rest of that roster, they're working on a real impact in terms of what are we going to be going forward?
Yeah, I firmly believe that.
We got some breaking news. ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski is reporting free agent Jared Dudley has agreed to a 1-year, $2.6 million deal with the Los Angeles Lakers. Mark Bartelstein reports.
Well, 5 guys on the roster now.
Let me tell you what that is suggesting to me.
Tell me right now, Jarod.
Jared Dudley on a $2.6 million 1-year deal. Now, of course, LeBron and AD are already there. Of course. It could be the Lakers are like, well, we gotta fill out this this roster because we need some people. But could also be suggesting another player of more import is coming. Possibly someone named Kawhi Leonard. I'm just gonna put that out there. Look, we all know. Honestly, just all kidding aside, the reality is I think it's between two teams, right? It's Toronto and the Lakers. Those two seem to be the two likely teams to get Kawhi's services.
Yeah.
We joked about 90%, whatever. Look, ultimately, no one but Kawhi actually knows what he's going to do. Okay? Let's just put that out there right now.
Yeah.
But listen, the Lakers, and while we're here, we might as well talk about it, they are making a huge gamble right now. And I'm very glad that Rob Pelinka is realizing, wait a minute, if we don't get Kawhi, what am I going to do? I better...
Nothing.
Well, so you better start signing people. Because look, all Malcolm Brogdon, all these other... They're already off the board. So you're putting a lot of faith in the fact that you think you're going to be able to convince Kawhi to come here. What if he says no? Now you got to scramble to fill... Look, they would have to scramble to fill out the roster anyway, but they would have felt better about it being like we have LeBron, we have AD, we have Kawhi. Well, if you don't get Kawhi, you're a little bit more desperate now. So this Jared Dudley signing is great. Again, he played for the Nets last year. I saw him up close and personal. He was huge in that locker room. Very important in getting D'Angelo Russell, in particular, on the right track to understand what it is he needed to do to be a professional, honestly. And so back to the Warriors and D'Lo, what he is a young piece that's imminently tradable, right?
Exactly. And really quick, when you say tradable, I think he's a great piece until Klay gets back.
Well, so the question is, when Klay gets back, what do you do? Here's what I think. You could still play the three of them at the same time. Klay's 6'7", so Klay could play the 3, and you can move D'Angelo to the 2, Steph's the 1. They can do that. Your issue, though, is defensively. D'Angelo's not good defensively.
No. He's not great on both ends of the floor whatsoever.
And that's going to compromise them a bit, for sure. And so with Klay out next year, that Steph-D'Lo backcourt, they're going to get torched on a lot of nights.
Very true, yeah.
The other thing about D'Angelo is he's very much used to playing with the ball in his hands. Now, he's a good catch-and-shoot three-point shooter, but he's going to have to work on that a little bit in that offense. But they can also tinker it. They can put the ball in his hands because, as you know, Steph is excellent off the ball, as is Klay, running off screens and relocating and all that. What I think here, and I'm not reporting this, this is what I'm thinking could be an opportunity here. They let D'Angelo audition his services for the beginning of the season, up until the trade deadline, right, through January. He's putting up monster numbers. He's showing I can play with, I can play off ball, I can compete on defense. The Warriors then flip that to a team like, I don't know, the Timberwolves. And they maybe think we can do a reclamation project on Andrew Wiggins that gives us a 3, whatever. We can get picks back in return. We can get a lot back because the Warriors are recognizing what they want to do. What Joe Lacob and Bob Myers, owner and GM, want to do there is they think and they want to fashion themselves as the San Antonio Spurs, the new version of the Spurs. We can win titles and still be competitive every year, make the playoffs, and on the good years, we'll win titles. Well, the way you do that is by having foundational pieces. They have that in Steph, Klay, and Draymond, and hitting on the draft and hitting on your player development. Well, they got a bunch of young guys coming in, develop them. If you can trade D'Angelo, get a bunch of pieces back in terms of draft picks and all that, you draft correctly, develop those young guys, Kevon Looney, blah, blah, blah. You now are talking about, okay, we can sustain this Warriors excellence for the entirety of Steph's prime. Now, that doesn't guarantee you're going to win championships, but it guarantees that you make the playoffs and have a chance every year. Because if not, that is what the Spurs are, right?
Yeah.
What is it? 20 straight seasons of making the play? Like, that's really good.
Here's the way I see it now, going off of that.
Yeah.
The Warriors are resetting, aside from having, two of the best shooters ever.
Mm-hmm. The two best shooters ever, arguably.
Yeah, which is incredible. Great. But like you said, it's not all going to be about the chips now. Mm-hmm. It's about now maintaining playoff position and excelling in that position. Yeah. Because I really don't think they're going to win the championship next year. I really don't. It's not happening at all. And what I'm worried about as well is, okay, we lost Kevin Durant. We gained D'Lo, which is great offensive player, but I'm worried about defense. You lost Jordan Bell, another paint player. Mm-hmm. So they need to acquire defense or start developing young players on the defensive end, or they're really not going to stand a chance deep in the playoffs because defense wins games. The
Warriors also they also signed Willie Cauley-Stein from the Sacramento Kings as well.
Yeah.
So look, they are the Warriors again. They're being smart about their rebuild. This is what it is. You're rebuilding. You lose a player like Kevin Durant. You're rebuilding.
You're rebuilding.
Right? And with Clay being hurt, like, you're going to miss some time with him this year. So, look, I like the moves. Again, I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. They're going to make the playoffs. I don't think they're going to make the finals this year. Yeah. But guess what? That's fine. Again, you want sustained excellence. You can't win the title every year. It's been proven. You can't do it. There's a toll you have to pay. The Warriors paid it. Their best player ruptured his Achilles. Their third or fourth best player tore his ACL. Like, that kind of consistent year-long finals runs is a wear on you physically and mentally. It takes a toll. You got to be able to replenish and restock and refresh in order to keep this thing going.
And I also think now this is going to be interesting for the Warriors, too, because even though we're not in championship contending mode as much, it's going to be a test of Steve Kerr going forward. And I'm really excited to see how he develops these young players. And I'm really excited to see the leadership aspect of Steph Curry. Yeah. Because he's by himself now. We have Clay out next season.
You got Draymond.
And but I think it's going to come down to Steph Curry leading this team. Yeah. You know, Draymond's obviously going to do his part, but it's going to be on Steph's shoulders.
And honestly, Warriors fans were clamoring for that. They want to go back to the days where Steph had the ball, running high pick and roll, scoring 35 a night. Well,
they'll get what they wanted.
You're going to get that now. You know, will. It just may not be titles. In the short term. But if you can build excellence sustained, we'll see.
Exactly.
Sixers.
Ooh. The Philadelphia 76ers. I am so excited about the Sixers. First of all, great move with Tobias Harris, 5 years, $180 million.
That's Tobias's max.
Ben Simmons, 5-year, $170 million max contract extension. Now he's getting a lot of backlash for that. We'll get into that.
We will.
Al Horford.
4 years, 109.
Yes,
Woo!
Baby. And Josh Richardson acquired by the 76ers in the Jimmy Butler sign and trade.
Yeah.
To the Heat.
So,
damn.
Listen, kudos to Elton Brand, Sixers GM. Look, they made a decision in terms of who they're siding with as an organization. And the decision was, we're going to roll with our young 22-year-old, however old Ben Simmons, I think he's 22. 23 maybe?
22 or 23.
22-year-old, 6'10", extremely athletic, just
monster finisher,
immensely talented point guard.
Yeah.
Instead of you, Jimmy Butler. That is essentially what they decided. Because, as you know, and as I heard last year, and the rumors were coming out, you know, Ben wasn't happy that in the playoffs last year, they moved him to the dunker spot and let Jimmy put the ball in high pick and roll with Joel Embiid and run the show in the playoffs. But guess what, Ben? When you can't shoot, this is what happens. We trying to win playoff games here, my dude. And in the playoffs, this ain't the regular season where we can no experimenting. Well,
not to mention we saw how Jimmy Butler played in the postseason. Yeah. That was his bread and butter. He thrived, knocking down shots, clutch shots, open moves.
You gotta shoot.
Exactly, shoot or shoot.
I mean,
good old saying.
You have to shoot. And again, in the playoffs where they know what you're doing and they know, we don't got to worry. Listen, the Raptors rested Leonard on you because they were like, don't worry.
Yeah.
If he goes out there, we know he's not shooting, so you don't have to worry about it. Mm-hmm. Look, I love these moves by the Sixers. By the way, height-wise, the Sixers are going to be so freaking tall. Their starting lineup is not going to have anybody in it who is under 6'6".
I am so excited for Philadelphia.
So big.
And wait, can we also talk about this too? Kudos to Brett Brown, who's had to coach how many different rosters in 2 years?
And listen, and I
2 to 3 different rosters?
I kill Brett Brown a lot. I'm like, but you know what? Listen.
You didn't think he was going to stay.
I was like, I don't think he's going to make it. And listen, they believe in him, and they're giving him a shot till he make this thing work. He's going to have to retool this offense and figure out what we're going to do. The main thing, again, is Ben has to come back with some semblance of a shot.
I'm going to say this right now.
Yeah.
This is going to be the year of Ben Simmons.
It better be.
This is going to be the year of Ben Simmons and his shot.
It better be.
I'm not going to say he's going to make it. I'm just going to say he's going to shoot it. Finally, after a few years, the man is going to shoot the ball because you know why, Jarod?
What?
It's all about your headspace, Jarod.
You think his headspace is clear now?
I think he's finally in the headspace. He's got the first rookie year, second year jitters out of him. He's already dated Kardashian, so he's past that. He's not getting distracted by these hoes out here. You know what I'm saying? And
you just call Kendall Jenner a hoe?
not her. These miscellaneous ones out here. Not Kendall Jenner. Love you, KJ. But this is going to be the year of Ben Simmons. He's going to shoot. He may not make it, but he's going to shoot. Why? Because Jimmy Butler's not there cramping his style.
But Jimmy Butler wasn't there before and he wasn't shooting.
He was a little bit. Just a little bit.
Listen.
And I really think the dynamic with him and Joel Embiid is incredible. I think the team really trusts Tobias Harris.
Well, here's the thing about that. That's really... Ben doesn't love the fact that Joel is the face of the franchise. That's not really... He doesn't...
Is he?
He is the process. He is Joel, the process Embiid.
But
the slogan used to be "Trust the process" in reference to what the entire organization is doing. Joel took it for himself as no, I am the process. So when he says "trust the process," he's saying "trust me." I am the franchise, and he's not exactly wrong in that, right?
No.
I mean, Embiid's an All NBA performer, right? I mean, let's be real about this, okay? Now, speaking of him. He's got work to do this offseason as well.
Yeah.
He's got to come back in shape. He's got to spend time on his body. And with the addition of Al Horford, which is so big for them. First of all,
it's going to alleviate some pressure
for
him.
You eliminated the best defender against him. Now he's on your team, so I'm going to worry about that. 2, listen, I know I've said it 2 times already. You put Embiid on that load management plan. Again, no back-to-backs. He plays 60-something games. He plays 32 minutes a night. That's it. You got to save that. The playoffs. Listen, you trying to win a title. I know Adam's going to hate that. Adam Silver, like, the fans. Listen, I get all that. If you're a Sixers fan, you rather see Jimmy. You rather see Joel in some random Tuesday night game against, I don't know, the Charlotte Hornets or the Hornets. Or you rather see him be healthy for the entirety of a playoff run. I think you want to see him healthy for a playoff run. So you got to load manage. And Kawhi said it. If we didn't put me on this program, I don't make it to the NBA Finals. Look,
exactly. Man. And that's the problem that he had with the Spurs, but that's a conversation for another time.
Moving on.
Great segue here because let's talk about Jimmy Butler down in Miami.
South Beach.
Yes, that's right, baby. 4 years, $142 million. Miles Leonard comes as a part of that 4-team
trade. So that trade was the Sixers, the Heat, the Blazers, and the Clippers. Mo Harkless went to the Clippers. Some draft picks, exchange places. Look, the Heat are going to have money come off the books, and Whiteside went to Portland.
Yeah.
Money's going to come off the books in the next summer, 2019, 2020. So they're going to have a max slot open there. Big thing that is, everyone's like, oh, max slot. Let me also explain that as well. Just because you have a max slot does not mean you have to sign a max player.
Yeah.
Right? You can just sign
we need to tell some GMs and owners that.
Well, you can sign a bunch of players to fill up that max slot salary.
Yeah.
Or you can get in a trade, you can absorb salary in a trade because you have that empty space, right? Okay. Now, Jimmy's going to love it down there, and the Miami Heat fans are going to love him because he's going to play hard, he's going to do his thing, and he's going to be the man on that team. He and Justice Winslow, and
that's what he wants. He wants to be the man.
So guess what? It's going to be all good, and this is his payday. He's getting paid.
He is getting paid.
And he's living in South Beach. Listen, there are a lot worse places in the world you can live.
He's going to be chilling with Dwayne Wade and the baby on the weekends.
All good.
I mean, it's good. Gucci down in Miami,
all
baby.
Good.
And Miles Leonard, I think that's a great get.
Miles Leonard's good.
He had a good postseason in Portland.
You can develop Miles Leonard because I think he's got some skills. And we saw him play well in the postseason last year.
When it counted. And let's just add, too, that he was, I believe it was the last of the main core players in Portland. Now it's just Dame and his money in his bag.
Well, Dame and CJ.
Well, yeah, Dame and CJ, but
Nurk. You know, they got some pieces. We'll get to Portland.
Hey. Okay. Are we ready for this one?
Oh, yeah.
The second best team in New York.
Second best out of 2.
The Knicks. Okay. A lot of disappointment on the first night of free agency.
Yeah.
Everybody was roasting New York Knicks.
Yeah.
And what is your take on this, Jarod? I think they obtained a lot of young core players. Did they get the biggest get that they could? No. And they didn't want to sign KD to the max?
So
James Dolan?
Here's what I think is brilliant and smart about what the Knicks did, though it may have been their plan B. So Julius Randle, Taj Gibson, Bobby Portis, Reggie Bullock, Wayne Ellington, Alfred Payton.
Yes.
All of those deals are 2 years, with the exception of the Randall deal, but that's a team option for the third year. So it's essentially a 2-year deal. So what does that mean? They come off of all that money in 2 years, and they can open up 2 max slots again when the free agency class is wide open.
And that's 2021.
That's yes, and that is Giannis.
I was just gonna say
that's the Giannis year, exactly. And there's a bunch of other, not just Giannis, a bunch of other good free agents that year as well. The Knicks of the past would have probably panicked with all that cap space and signed somebody to a 4-year deal or a 5-year deal, hamstringing you for 4 years and contracts you can't move. These are all deals that are short term and you can move them. They're easy and they're decent guys. Here is what the Knicks have to do. Develop their young players. RJ Barrett, Kevin Knox, Mitchell Robinson, and whatever you think Frankie Ntilikina is. Those guys have to develop. Now, of course, I worry about them developing because you have Julius Randle, Taj Gibson, and Bobby Portis. Those are all front court players. Well, shocking. What positions do Mitchell Robinson and Kevin Knox play? Front court. And RJ Barrett, front court. So I'm hoping Fizdale and his performance staff and Mills and Perry, the front office, they have a plan in place to develop these guys. Because what was the point of doing all that if it wasn't for development?
Yeah, I mean, exactly.
Because the key is young players like Knox, like RJ Barrett, who everyone thinks is going to be a star, who I think has got star potential.
I think so.
And I hope that he's got the right mix with Portis and Gibson. I think and Gibson's a good, and Julius Randle, guys who can help him develop and understand this is what it means to be a pro and work at your craft and get better. Because young players who are under contract, under team-friendly deals, that's how you get good in this league. And then one of them or two of them turn into a superstar, and then you can attract free agents and do this and do that.
Exactly.
As far as them not signing KD to the max, look.
Dumb move or no?
Here's the thing. And Ramona and Woj came out and said, look, the Knicks were telling us all along that they never got to this point. And Ramona and Woj, as we know, are some of the best reporters in the business. I'm not saying that they were giving us false information, but the Knicks are trying to do some spinning right now on this, right? Because, look, your owner went on the Michael Kay show on radio and said it was going to be a good summer for us. We're going to get big-time free agents. He didn't say who because it would be tampering. And that was and the rumor forever was KD, Kyrie. Well, it never got to that. And honestly, part of that, I think, was the owner talking about it and it becoming a story all season long.
Yeah.
And KD and Kyrie looked at that and probably like,
why are you bragging about something you don't even know?
And by the way, mind you, these deals that we've all mentioned, none of them are actually official until July 6th. So let's just, everybody pump the brakes.
Hey.
They're all agreed to in principle. But until I see pen to paper and... Okay. So that being said, the Knicks, what they tried to do was skip a step in the rebuild. It's okay. We cleared the cap space. Cool. Now let's go sign free agents. No. It's clearing cap space. It's development, and you have to show that you're improving. Look across the bridge to what the Brooklyn Nets did. Everyone was killing them with that Boston Celtics trade they did many years ago when they brought in an old Paul Pierce and an old Kevin Garnett, and they gave up all their future draft picks. The Nets languished they were horrendous for many seasons, but they built. They got guys like Karis LeVert, Dinwiddie. They traded for D'Angelo Russell, all this stuff. Jarod Allen. They developed these guys. They made the playoffs. And
they did it in, like you said, developing the old-fashioned way. You took these guys, you took the time, you built a culture. You built a culture in Brooklyn. While everybody was sleeping on you, we were up in here working hard.
And you show, and so what that is, and you made the playoffs last year.
Yeah, and pretty damn far.
And you were competitive. So that showed Kyrie and Kevin,
they look happy in Brooklyn.
Look at Brooklyn. They got a plan over there. Look what they did with Karis LeVert. Look what they did with D'Lo. Look what they did with Dinwiddie.
And you never hear anything bad going down in Brooklyn. It's always like, we chilling.
And with the Knicks, nothing but drama constantly.
Drama. And here's one of the reasons why the Knicks have drama. So they tank, in my opinion, free agency for big players.
And to be fair, the Knicks had hoped they would get the number 1 pick, Because I do believe there is a world where, had they got the number 1 pick, either they draft Zion and keep him, and then they're like, Kevin and Kyrie, do you want to come play with Zion? And then maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. Or they trade the number 1 pick, which would be Zion, to New Orleans for, at the time, then Anthony Davis. Right?
Well, they're not that smart.
But that was in a potential that was potentially in play.
Yes.
But once that didn't happen, and then Porzingis went and all that, it's like, well, okay. You can't skip steps, as we said at the beginning of the pod. There's levels to this. So now they got to grind this year, and it ain't gonna be about the wins columns, because let's be real, they're not making the playoffs. But can you show development with your young guys? Is Kevin Knox gonna be better this year? Is Mitchell Robinson gonna be better this year?
That's extremely possible.
Is Dennis Smith Jr. gonna be better this year? Is the ghost of Frankie Ntilikina gonna be better this year? No,
right? I agree. But the thing is with the Knicks, as soon as people were, talking about them tanking in free agency, and then you could obviously tell they start to sweat because President Steve Mills puts out the most embarrassing statement I've ever heard in my life.
What statement?
While we understand some Knicks fans could be disappointed with tonight's news, we continue to be upbeat and confident in our plans.
And again,
you mean your plan B?
And again, I think that was saving face.
Of course it was.
Right.
But why are you going to say that?
And that's the point. Why?
We know you guys are disappointed because we are too.
Because here's the thing: why are you leaking out that you think you're going to get top tier free agents? This is probably an old movie reference for you. You probably don't remember it, but it was Brad Pitt in Fight Club.
Oh, yeah.
What is the first rule about Fight Club? We don't talk about Fight Club!
That's it.
If you think you're getting free agents, why are you talking about it? Just shut up. Just say nothing. Do your moves and just keep it moving. And then when whoever shows up.
Exactly.
And you have your press conference and announce it. And I think, again, around the league, players see this and they're like, man, this is a Mickey Mouse organization. I don't really know what these people are doing.
Because they picture themselves in those positions and they're like, nobody's going to be like doing this with me, putting my name out in the press. The first thing about Kevin Durant is he doesn't like to be put out in the press.
Right. He doesn't like his narrative control for him.
Yes.
Right. It's like, why are you guys saying this?
Yeah.
Like, nothing has been agreed to. And sure enough, he's in Brooklyn now with Kyrie Irving. So,
Oh, don't worry. I already got my jersey ordered on.
I'm sure you do.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm sure you do.
Okay, Boston Celtics.
Whoa.
Big get in Kemba Walker, 4-year, $141 million deal from the Charlotte Hornets. Thank God he got out of there. And Enes Kanter, 2 years, $10 million player option on the second year.
Yeah.
Interesting with Enes Kanter because he came out and said that he was given literally 10 minutes to give his decision to Portland. So he tried to call his parents and his family and see what was up.
Which of course he can, as you know, because the whole Turkish thing with the
So it was even harder for him to get in touch with them. He said they kept pressuring him, so he was like, deuces, bye. I'm out of here. I'll see you in Boston. What's up, Kemba? So let's talk about this now.
Look, the Celtics, this is a hard reset for them, right? You could argue that they won because they replaced one All-Star with another All-Star, right? And honestly, Kemba might be a better fit than Kyrie.
I agree.
He might be a better fit.
I agree.
Just because Kemba's not the type to call out his teammates and he won't do any of that.
He is a loyal through and through guy.
Here's the question.
He's a team guy.
Here's the question I have, though. Kemba's used to being a 30% usage rate guy his entire career.
Because Charlotte is...
Right, because he was the only guy.
Charlotte.
So is he still the primary guy? Or is Gordon Hayward the primary guy? And if Gordon Hayward's the one, is Kemba 2? Or is Kemba 3 behind Jason Tatum? And how does Jaylen Brown feel about that? So some of those similar problems still exist.
Well...
that's all I'm going to say.
I think that you have extremely good questions there because, first of all, we have to see how Kemba gels with this team.
Right.
We have to see how Hayward is still playing, even post-injury, although, he had his moments last season.
Right.
And we also have to see how Tatum's going to step up to the plate, seeing as he wasn't really anywhere to be found last year. He kind of was complacent. Not that he was bad.
Right.
He didn't skyrocket like everybody thought.
And I think everyone put way too much pressure on it. They were
and then Jaylen Brown.
He had that one dunk on LeBron as his rookie, and it was like, it's like, calm down, people. Like, you had an inconsistent second year, and young guys are inconsistent. However, I'm going to tell you this, and we'll run through the rest of this rapid fire.
Sure.
This is the year, though. Year 3 for Tatum, He's got to be a 20-point per game scorer, and he's got to have all-star buzz. Because the talk about him was, this is a future All-NBA guy, possible league MVP one day.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? By year 3, we got to start seeing this stuff now. Consistently.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
2 is like a test. It's like, you came off the rookie,
This is the time now.
Yeah.
You know the league now. You know this is the year now.
We're going to see who's going to step up.
We will.
In that team.
So free agency was crazy, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to run down some teams I like what they did. Indiana.
Sure. Let's hear it.
Malcolm Brogdon, 4 years, $85 million in sign and trade. Jeremy Lamb, 3 years, $31 million. I like this Pacers squad because while you lose, Christ, who the hell did? Now I'm all flustered. Oh, you lose Bogdanovich. While you lose Bojan, I like the addition of Malcolm Brogdon. That's a great backcourt with him and Oladipo when Oladipo gets back. Defensively, they get after it, and you've got Turner and Sabonis. They did lose Thaddeus Young, but can't keep everybody.
It is what it is. But real quick, Brogdon, from that experience of playing with Giannis, he's gonna take that right to the Pacers, and it's gonna be tough.
And Jeremy Lamb, for his all the flaws he gets, that's a nice piece for them.
People are gonna sleep on them next year, but they're gonna make noise.
I like them.
Milwaukee Bucks.
Yeah, look, they brought back Middleton for his max.
Smart move.
They brought back Lopez and his brother, George Hill. They were able to sign him. It's gonna hurt losing Brogdon. They're really gonna feel that because. Many times in the playoffs,
he was a key role player.
He was their second best player. So,
and when he was out, they kind of dipped a little bit.
And Bledsoe was not good in the playoffs last year. So
we need to fill the gaps.
Unless Bledsoe turns himself into a better playoff performer, they're gonna feel the loss of Malcolm Brogdon. They're going to for sure.
Definitely.
The Mavs.
Kristaps Porzingis, 5 years, $158 million. Seth Curry, 4 years, $32 million to the Mavericks right there. Good move because he showed up when it counted in the postseason with the Blazers. Really stepped up. Good shooter.
I like it a lot.
Yep.
Look, they never got Luka, Rookie of the Year. Kristaps should be healthy this year. I love that. They re-signed Miles Powell. Love Seth Curry as a shooter. And they still have moves to make. They got some more cap space, so I like them.
Love it. Let's talk about the Pelicans. Obviously, we lost AD, but we gained a shooter in J.J. Redick. 2 years, $26.5 million.
I love what Griff has done. Can we just, in 3 months, David Griffin has literally reshaped that entire organization.
Turned it around.
They got a massive haul of picks back from the Lakers for Anthony Davis, plus Lonzo Ball, plus Brandon Ingram, plus Josh Hart.
Let's not count those guys out, right? Yeah.
They already got Drew Holiday. They got Zion. Listen.
They're going to be fun.
They're going to score 130 points a game next season.
They got a lot of scores.
They may give up 140, but they're going to score a ton. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not going to say they're going to make it, but they're going to be up until the end of the last day. They're going to be in the hunt for that 8 seed.
They're going to be good. Derek Favors.
And yes.
From the Jazz?
Pick of Derek Favors.
Heck yeah.
Listen. All I'm saying, that they're going to be nice.
Yep.
Watch out.
That's right. Let's talk about the Kings. Okay, Harrison Barnes, 4 years. Dwayne Dedmon, 3 years. And Trevor Ariza, 2 years.
A lot of money for Dedmon and Ariza.
A lot of money, especially for Dedmon.
All right. Harrison Barnes bet on himself, so, kudos to him. Look, they were up until the end of the season, like they were in the thick of it for a playoff push. I don't know that these moves definitely pushed them over, but
we still have Bagley.
And if we see a jump from De'Aaron Fox and another step up from Bagley,
well,
that I think is going to be.
De'Aaron Fox was my most improved player last year, so I think we're going to see a jump from him, and I think Bagley's going to step it up even more.
Yeah.
Let's also say Bagley was dealing with a lot of injury too last season.
So if those guys are healthy, they're going to be great. Can I tell you, sleeper team who I think they are the odds-on favorite right now to make the Western Conference Finals, and it's the Utah Jazz, which is insane.
Sleeper team is right.
They got Mike Conley, as we know, so it'll be a backcourt with Donovan. They got Bojan Bogdanović, 4 years, $73 million. Ed Davis, which is a sneaky good pickup for them, 2 years, $10 million. And Jeff Green on the veteran minimum.
Yes.
They're going to be, let's not forget, they have Rudy Gobert, reigning defensive player of the year. They got Joe Ingles. I like this team a lot.
I like this a lot because I feel like the get that they've gotten already is taking some of the pressure with Mike Conley off Donovan, which is all that they needed to really propel.
Bogdanović, who can get his own buckets. Like, listen, what is this in the playoffs? You need dudes who can score, man.
Exactly. I think Donovan and Mike Conley are going to be one of our favorite backcourts, and they're going to be exciting playoff contenders for sure, and a sleeper team. You're right. Portland Trail Blazers, Rodney Hood, 2 years, $16 million deal.
We talked about the Hassan Whiteside picking him up.
Yes.
Look, they're going to be without Nurk for a little bit because he had the compound fracture in the foot.
Yep.
And we know that Dame signed his Supermax extension.
Dame secured the bag in Portland.
$196 million. God.
He deserves it.
I'm not saying he doesn't.
Oh, but yeah, I know. But he deserves the bag. I didn't hear one person complain about him securing that.
No.
Whatsoever. So good for you, Dame.
We got to see what Portland, because again, with the Warriors being out, everyone's got that mentality. We're one player away.
Here we come.
We'll see. Orlando brought back Terrence Ross, 4 years 54. Nick Vucevic, 4 years 100. I'm not really sure what Orlando's doing. They also picked up Al-Farouq Amino, who left Portland.
And they also didn't go after big moves.
No, well, because who's going to Orlando?
Yeah.
I mean, nobody. Yeah. Suns? I mean, I'm not even, forget it. Not even going to talk about them. No, look, because who knows what they're doing? Nobody. They had that story come out. They thought that D'Angelo Russell's a bad influence on Devin Booker.
Saw that.
Which,
yeah, they're best friends, but Kyrie and KD are best friends. Look what happened there. So
anyway.
Yep.
Really quick before we wrap, we got to talk about the Lakers for 2 seconds. Again, as we said.
Let's go with those Lakers.
This Kawhi Leonard thing, it has to happen. Because if it doesn't,
what it do, baby?
I just don't know what they're going to do in terms of filling out that roster, because look at all the guys we mentioned who were off the board. Thomas Bryant back to the Wizards. Austin Rivers back to Houston. Satoransky is over to the Bulls on a sign and trade. Pat Beverly back to the Clippers. 3 years, $40 million. He took less money. The Kings were offering him $10 million more. He's like, no, I want to stay.
Because Pat Beverly's a man of the people.
But here's the thing. Again, this whole idea about players are greedy and selfish.
Nah, they ain't.
He took $10 million less to stay in LA with the Clippers.
$10 million
And for a guy like Pat Beverly, who has never been paid yet in his life. No, he hasn't gotten his payday.
Sounds like me.
This was supposed to be his payday.
Yeah,
and he said, I want to stay with LA. So, newsflash, people.
Hey.
We're going to be back next week.
Yes, we are.
With a free agency wrap up. We're going to really sort of break it down. We might go 2 hours next week.
I would like to,
Because we got to really get into this.
Yeah, so we could talk about, now with these teams, what their future is.
Where they are and what we think is going to happen long term.
Exactly. Thanks for hanging with us, guys. Free agency is going to be buzzing all week long. Stick with us.